Hey, I'm Tony K. Welcome to Transformation School. Now, I am a big fan of the Perfect Effect hands and feet sets for the Combiner Wars figures. Now, these sets are far from perfect, but the articulated fingers do give the figures more personality and character. I mean, aside from, being able to move a face around to show emotion, you can pose the arms and legs, you can pose the fingers to help convey emotion, and it's a great feature. The feet as well, these feet are large, have this articulated ankle joint, which provides a lot more posing options and again personality to the figures versus what you can do with these feet and hands that Hasbro and Takara Tomy have released. There is a mod that I've seen photos of online for the Hasbro hands that you can add a little articulation to the fingers, and we are going to try that today. So this mod should work with any of the various hands and feet for any of the figures. I haven't been able to keep track of which hands came with which figures. I think this is the one that came with Alpha Bravo. So there are a couple of different parts to this modification. One is to cut in between each finger, and there is a metal pin running all the way through, and so each finger will then be able to rotate on that metal pin, giving it a little bit of articulation. The next part of the mod is to remove these guns, and this might actually be better to remove the guns first, and remove this entire panel in front of the fingers, so that way the fingers aren't stuck with a panel in the way like this, but instead the fingers could straighten out. And I had a thought looking at that when I'd seen the mod. This was cut flush, flat all the way across, and my thought was if you could cut them here, cut through in this direction, then you would have these neat blade-like pieces sticking out so that he could have some knuckle blades, Wolverine claws or something. I'm not sure how easy though that would be to accomplish. And in fact, I'm wondering if we need to push this pin out, take these fingers out in order to cut this panel off. I'm not sure. I want to give it a try though without taking the pin off. I also want to try my idea of the claws. Now, this blade might work well for cutting through the plastic. I think the last major mod I did with this knife was on Generations RC, and if you'd seen my video, the extra credit for that modification to her hands, I had some difficulty cutting through the plastic and ended up jabbing myself in the finger. Don't want to do that again. My other thought is to use this teeny tiny saw blade and just saw my way through the plastic. And that might be safer. I'm not sure if it would work any better. I feel like trying it. I'm looking at this from several different angles, and I'm just not sure exactly how I want to approach it. There may be blood. I could always get my jigsaw. Wish I had a jigsaw table but instead I just have a handheld jigsaw. Now that would make quick work of this, however, it is not, what should I say? It has minimal accuracy. It is not good for fine detail. It seems to be working, but it is definitely taking plenty of effort. This raised circular spot is in the way of cutting in this direction. Okay, so we were able to separate the what's going to be the claws from the gun barrel. Now, to try to remove the gun barrels without having to push this pin out. And I'm only reluctant to push the pin out because I imagine that would not go very easily. Won't know until I try. So I will try if I have to. This is cutting through reasonably well. Let's try this way. Not so easy this way. Aha, I have an idea. Well, we scored it. So I'm digging into the finger a little bit. There we go. Shall try the scoring it on this side, I suppose. Now we need to get it down the long side. And that will probably be much more difficult. See this, these fingers have already, they slide right off that pin. This pin is closer to this side, and it's not quite tabbing into that side. I feel like we could use that to our advantage right now. Get these fingers out of our way. Could I slide that pin out now? That pin is stuck in there really good. No, that pin does not want to come out. We'll try to work around it for a minute or two. We'll try to score along this edge with the saw blade. I want to snap this off. I'm sure that's a bad idea. It would cause various stressed plastic, but I want to do it. I can try coming in with the utility knife now and hope that this cuts through easily. Just not confident that this is the best approach for the whole stabbing myself reasoning. Don't want to stab myself today. If I try again to get this pin out, that would give me the clearance to snap these guns out. This end of the pin is, for lack of a better word, it's bumpy, graded, I don't know, bumpy. And so those bumps helped secure it into the plastic and make it not want to slide out. Excellent. Now, I'm sure it would be easier to cut the fingers without the pin running through them. Is there any reason to cut them with the pin running through them? I'm imagining like alignment or something, I don't know. But we are going to take the pin out and we are going to separate the fingers. Now, two options: utility knife or saw blade. I'm going to try a utility knife and see if I like it. I'm just afraid with the saw blade that the saw blade is going to be so much wider. I don't know, they look about equal. Seems to be working pretty well. Excellent. We'll set this one aside. Next. rough on the fingers. My fingers, not the figure's fingers. Guess it's rough on those too. Okay, I'm going to clean up all of these shavings, and then we will take a look at our work. So, we've got 4 individual fingers. Let's see. Let's give this a shot. I'm not exactly sure what the best way will be to do this. This bumpy end is definitely going to have to go back in eventually. But we might need to pull this back out a few times in order to get everything working properly. So this end of the pin was barely pushed through when this was pushed all the way in. Right now it's sticking out because we might need to remove the pin to finish tweaking this hand. And so it is nowhere near pegged in. I'm noticing some issues with the fingers straightening, so I want to take these out and shave the edge a little more. Kicking up a lot more plastic bits as well. So we just need to shave this a bit, I think it seems. By not removing this section, I might be preventing the fingers from opening up as much as they could. But I have the idea about the knuckle claws, so gotta try it first. I did mix up the order of the fingers a bit, not sure. Shouldn't be too difficult to reassemble. No, I don't think the knuckle claws will be in the way at all. So I really want to push this pin all the way through. You know what? I think I want to do some shaving on the fingers. With the way that my cuts aren't perfect in between each finger, I feel like shaving the insides of the fingers where some of the imperfections are. That would allow the fingers to move past each other more easily. However, that would also make the fingers a little more floppy, because right now they've got some friction in between them to kind of put them into place once I move them. So I don't want to do the shaving because then I might end up with floppy finger. I see a big gap. Let's see if I can focus on it. So that gap, that space in there, could be a problem as it's spreading all the fingers down, spreading this panel where the pin runs into, spreading that down because of some of the excess plastic in between the fingers. I'm going to do it. I'm going to shave in between the fingers. So just this sliver to the right is what I want to shave off. This finger seems pretty flush. There's a little bit of a lip there. I don't think I need to do this, but just a little bit. Just do it a little bit. Okay. Hopefully this is now ready to pin in for good. Because I'm hungry. It is well past supper time. One thing I'm noticing is that given where this pinhole is at, the fingers rotate in kind of an awkward place. I could consider drilling a hole further down, but I might need to fill in this pinhole, and I'm not sure what I would want to do that with. I don't think super glue would be great at that. I think as it would dry, it would just kind of shrink too much. I'm not sure how durable it would be afterwards. I have this do-it-yourself fix-it stuff. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. It's like some sort of putty. I think you mix like 2 types of putty together. You just knead it together with your fingers, and then it's supposed to dry hard. I feel like I've tried working with that stuff in the past, and it was not as good as advertised. No, I'm going to call them good right where they're at. So now I just need to try to finish pushing this pin through. Oh. Ah. Okay. How about that? How about if I try to put it in through this side? Is it even going to be long enough to go all the way through? That's a good question. Yeah, it's holding. So as I thought before, the fingers are a little floppy. There's some things we could do to try to build up some friction between them. For example, a little drop of super glue here and there, and then let that dry. Another option might be to take the pin back out, maybe add a line of glue down the pin to create more friction inside the finger hole. Let's give that one a shot, if we can get this back out. Now the question on my mind, better to add the glue to the pin or to the holes? Suppose it'd be easier to do it to the pin, because with the pin I can just do it once. With the holes I've got to do it, I would want to do it like on each edge of each hole. Just want to kind of get this stuck in here. I'm afraid if I start putting glue on it like this, it's just going to roll away. If I do it like this, I think it'll be okay. Maybe. And it really doesn't need to be a lot of glue. Okay. We're going to let that dry for a bit and then slide the fingers on and see how they fit. Okay, let's see how well our fingers fit now. Not tight enough. Yeah, still too wiggly. And I had dinner and everything. So now I gotta kill some more time while some more super glue does its thing. And let that cure. Okay, let's do another test fit. Dooby-dooby-doo. That's better. That might be good. That might be good. We might be done. Okay. One concern I have is that these ends, I wonder how many times I've said that during this review. One concern I have. I'm concerned that these ends are a little too short to stay tabbed into the holes on the hand. But feels secure. And the fingers are doing a pretty good job of staying in place. So let's put this on Defensor. And now he has his two articulated hands. So these perfect effect hands are very thin and his fingers are really long. on our new modded hand. His hand is pretty thick. It's a good thick. But his fingers are a little short. And having made this modification, this won't make a very good foot now because he doesn't have any toes to keep him balanced in the front. Also, it won't make a great weapon for the figures to hold in their hands or to mount to their vehicle mode because it's missing these gun turrets. I'm just wondering if I could wedge it into place. Not really. And then we got a bonus little piece here. Maybe he's got a new pair of binoculars, night vision goggles, I don't know. Or we just got a piece of garbage to throw into the trash. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our modified Combiner Wars articulated fingers. And that's it for today's lesson. Class dismissed.